battle grows increasingly dangerous as Ukrainian drones enter the fight. Their first target is struck directly and chaos erupts. A retreating tank runs over a mine. Another personal carrier is locked onto by a drone and destroyed in a direct strike. A second vehicle attempts to push forward, but it too is hit by a UAV and bursts into flames. Yet, the operation is far from over. Scattered Russian units attempt to deploy more infantry, but Ukrainian drones are watching closely. Another mine disables an approaching vehicle. As the smoke clears, drones begin dropping explosive from above. Successive strikes leave the enemy helpless. An armored vehicle is rendered completely inoperative. Even when another APC tries to advance, Ukrainian drones tail it closely, making survival impossible. An explosion rips its turret off, hurling it into the air. One surviving vehicle manages to drop troops near a building, as it turns out to be a trap. As they attempt to escape, an RPG takes them out. AFU soldiers prepare for the next strike. First drones hammer the building, followed by RPG fire. From a distance, a precise shot brings the structure down, leaving no chance for those inside. Realizing the danger, Russian armored vehicles attempt to pull back. The first hits a mine, while the others continue on. Ukrainian artillery tries to block their escape but cannot succeed. Still, a javelin strike from an AFU soldier finds its mark. Another direct hit follows. The operation collapses completely. Soon after the Russian launch yet another assault on the city, reconnaissance aircraft detect 2 APCs and 17 infantry preparing for the attack. The soldiers split into 3 groups and move in different directions. Ukrainian artillery immediately opens fire. Panic spreads among the enemy. Infantry is scattered. Panic spreads among the enemy. Infantry is scattered toward bunkers. While one APC attempts to withdraw, artillery fire intensifies, with both standard shells and cluster mutations raining down. One Russian group is spotted by an APC. Coordinates are relayed, and moments later a massive blast sends shrapnel flying in all directions. More strikes follow, sealing the fate of the operation. The Russian troops fail to secure any position. Nearby, a Ukrainian drone detects movement along the pipelines. Russian soldiers believe this area to be a safe shelter, but within moments Ukrainian UAVs appear in the sky. The first drone approaches the pipeline. Without hesitation, it moves forward slowly and steadily, entering its target zone. The pilot identifies a defensive position ahead and eliminates it. The mission is successfully accomplished. Immediately after, a second drone takes off. As it dives deeper toward Russian bunkers, an obstacle blocks its path. The strike is carried out and the way is clear. Then a third drone bypasses defenses. A stronghold slips inside and delivers the final blow. The mission ends once again, showcasing the skill and precision of Ukrainian pilots. The enemy remains under severe threat. To prevent any retreat, Ukrainian drones target Russian vehicles. Each UAV completes its mission with a single strike. Destroyed vehicles erupt into flames, reduced to smoldering wrecks. In the Praus area, Ukrainian artillery engaged Russian tanks. Shells land dangerously close to the convoy, yet the armored column continues offensive. The first direct strike comes from a Ukrainian unit, forcing one tank into a nearby shell. Heavy artillery fire then halts the rest of the convoy. Soldiers abandon their armored vehicles as artillery continues pounding the immobilized targets. The offensive collapses. The lead tank is then destroyed by Ukrainian drone. When a single precise hit, the tank bursts into flames and reduced to burnt out scrap. 2 armored personnel carriers attempt to push toward the city but divert into a nearby field. Ukrainian artillery opens fire, trying to entrap. One carrier charges at maximum speed, making it difficult to aid, but the Ukrainian UAV intervenes with a precise strike. The vehicle is stopped in its tracks. Infantry is scattered in panic as the drone drops explosive. Russian troops try to shoot down the UAVs but fail. The second armored personnel carrier runs over a mine. The breakthrough attempt ends in failure. A similar scenario unfolds in the Kansk region. Russian troops prepare for an assault, sending armored personnel carriers across a wide field in an unusual maneuver, but a mine blocks their path. The vehicle halts, exposed in the middle of open ground. This is not the end. Ukrainian forces strike the area with cluster mutations. Another armored personnel carrier rushes forward to assist, but it too is destroyed by a direct drone hit. Realizing the danger, Russian troops attempt to retreat, but a second drone hunts them down and strikes. Moments later, a third drone delivers decisive blow. The vehicle is permanently disabled. Another failed assault. Now come the tank scenes. A Russian tank attempts to advance, comes to a stop in the middle of the road. Ukrainian drones take off into the sky. The first attack lands. The tank suffers heavy damage and becomes immobile. Engine failure seems likely. The smoke pours out as the crew desperately tries to respond. They attempt to fire the cannon at the drone but fail. Maneuver or attempting, but nothing works. A call for reinforcement is made. The tank sent for assistance become the next target of a Ukrainian UAV. As infantry try to move from one vehicle to another, drones catch steam. With a single strike, the target is destroyed. Soldiers scatter in every direction. The entire operation collapses into disaster. The following footage is particularly striking. A Russian armored personnel carrier pushes into a wooded area. At this very spot, two armored vehicles and the tank were already destroyed by hidden mines. A Russian soldier had even marked the ground, claiming the path was safe. The carrier follows the track, but just ahead lies the real surprise: a concealed mine. A sudden explosion sends smoke billowing into the sky. Panic breaks out as infantry is scattered into the forest. Like the other before it, this attempt ends in failure. In recent months, Ukrainian forces have intensified their efforts to disrupt Russian supply lines, launching a series of devastating convoy attacks that cripple the enemy's ability to sustain operations near the front. The Pie-Cross sector has now become one of the key battlegrounds. Their carefully planned Ukrainian strikes have shown how entire formations can be paralyzed with just a few decisive blows. Russian troops continue to rely heavily on long convoys of fuel trucks, armored vehicles, and supply transports, pushing men and equipment deeper into the contested zones. But these long columns stretch across exposed roads and open fields have become prime target. Ukrainian drones, artillery, and precision-guided munitions strike with deadly accuracy, dismantling convoys before they can ever reach their destination. Every destroyed truck or tank not only reduces the enemy's firepower, but also delivers a chilling message for Russian forces. Logistical security no longer exists. Kharkiv has now become a graveyard for armored vehicles. Here, Ukrainian forces have perfected the art of destruction, combining aerial reconnaissance with rapid artillery adjustments to strike moving target before they have any chance to disperse. Tanks advancing toward the city are intercepted by drones, armored personnel carriers attempting to break through Ukrainian defenses are stopped cold by mines or ambushing from above by UAVs. What's the most striking in this sector is not just the destruction itself, but the precision and coordination behind every operation. Each Ukrainian strike fits into a larger pattern. Drones move in first, disorienting and damaging targets. Artillery then follows with relentless shelling. Finally, additional UAVs finish off whatever survives. This layered strategy ensures that Russian advances collapse before they can ever build momentum. Similar scenes unfold in Kupiansk and across other critical regions. Here, Russian forces continue to test Ukrainian defenses with mechanized pushes. Armored convoys attempt to cross open fields but quickly find themselves trapped in carefully laid minefields. Once immobilized, these vehicles become easy prey for drones circling overhead. Even reinforcements sent to rescue standard units fall victims to the same trap, creating a chain reaction of losses. The battlefield becomes a cycle where one field assault leads directly to the destruction of the next field. But beyond these immediate tactical victories lies a deeper strategic reality. By striking Russian logistics again and again, Ukraine forces its adversary into a state of perpetual uncertainty. Supplies can no longer move without risk, reinforcements cannot be deployed without the fear of ambush, and armored units cannot maneuver freely under the constant shadow of drones overhead. The erosion of confidence is devastating as the physical destruction of the vehicles themselves. Soldiers who march into battle knowing that their convoys may never arrive intact our soldiers already fighting with a broken spirit. The importance of Bucharest lies not only in its geography but in the psychological battlefield it represents. Again and again, Russian forces had tried to seize this ground, believing it to be a gateway to the further advances. Yet every attempt has been met with precise Ukrainian countermeasures. Tanks set ablaze along the roads, armored carriers reduced to smoldering wrecks, convoys scattered in panic. These images reveal the futility of continued Russian offensive. Each failure not only strengthens Ukrainian morale, but sends a clear and undeniable signals. Each failure not only strengthens Ukrainian morale, but sends a clear and undeniable signal. The defenders remain in control. The attackers are paying a heavy price for every step. By severing the arteries, defeat Russian war machines, they can weaken the very body of the invasion itself. The convoy attacks are not isolated strikes, but part of a broader strategy, a strategy designed to erode Russians' ability to wage sustained operations across multiple fronts. Success in Pokrovsk and beyond prove a powerful lesson that even in the face of overwhelming numbers, agility, precision, and strategic foresight can tell the balance of the battlefield. As this conflict continues to evolve, such operation will shape the course of every destroyed convoy, every intercepted strong column, every shattered sword, all add up to a greater truth. Russian advance is being dismantled, piece by piece, not through brute force alone, not through calculated, relentless pressure applied to its weakest points, and this Ukrainian has shown not only reliance, but a mastery of modern combined tactics that leave their enemy exposed and vulnerable at every turn.